guys, it's Cherish from the Motley News, and I'm here to give you another installment of Book Talk. But first, I have to get the bad news out of the way. For those of you who watched the 2016 Academy Awards, you know that it was still so very white. My documentary that I was pulling for, What Happened Nina Simone, did not win. Instead, the documentary Amy, about the late singer Amy Whitehouse, won instead. It's fine, whatever. Chris Rock did try to punctuate the night with a lot of, you know, jokes that towed the line about racial diversity in the Academy. Some of the jokes were a little cringeworthy. The entire opening montage was really cringeworthy. He did the best he could, I suppose, considering he was working with the Academy in order to put that show together. So I didn't really have huge expectations of him. What are you gonna do? Second bad piece of news I have for you is that yes, it is March 1st, and that means that Black History Month is officially over by our calendar standards, which means we can go on with the rest of our year not worrying about Black influence in our culture, politics, and society. Okay, I'm being a little harsh. Black History Month does not have to end at February 29th or 28th, depending on what year it is. No, we can take this train all the way throughout the rest of the year if we want to. And a way we could do that is immersing ourselves into different parts of pop culture that highlight people of color. This is what representation is all about. In this video, we're gonna dive into literature, because that's what I like talking about. Specifically, novels or short stories that have been written by Black women. So I think at the beginning of the year, or sometime maybe last year, I promised myself that I wanted to read more fiction written by women of color. And I think I've been doing a pretty good job of that, but sometimes it gets a little difficult. You know, it's easy to find a list of, 30 Black female authors you need to read before you die. I mean, those lists are always great. But when I take those lists into bookstores or the library, I come up kind of empty because, they're not there. Barnes and Noble swear that they can order them for you. I don't really want to do that. And sometimes my library does not follow through. Unfortunately, I love my library, but unfortunately, I have to go to the branch that is probably the whitest branch in Toledo. So I came up with an idea. It took a lot of work, but I think it may have paid off. I went to the library yesterday. I did not bring a list with me. Instead, and this took a lot of work, I went up and down the aisles to find different texts with this sticker on the binding. If you can just see here. Yeah. It says African American on the binding there. That took a really long time, but in the process, it really made me think, okay, this is what it's like to find yourself in a white space. It's difficult, it takes a lot of work, and when you do find yourself, you come up with a stack that's only yay high. So that's for another discussion. And the fact that they are relegated by these stickers, that's another discussion too, because, is Black literature just literature, or should it be separated by its own category? I can tell you that yesterday it did help tremendously to find Black books with that little sticker on it. I do wonder about the implications of that sticker. Again, like I said, that's another conversation topic. But I want to show you these books one by one and hope that, in hopes that you might, find them attractive and you might want to go out there and read some yourself. Uh, One book that I've never heard of the author, but her name is Tayari Jones, and she's written a book called Silver Sparrow. It appears to be about a man who has one family that he acknowledges and then a secret family on the side that he does not acknowledge, but somehow the two teenage girls of each family have met each other and struck up some type of friendship, which I'm sure is going to, as the book jacket says, redefine love, loyalty, and betrayal. It looks like it's going to be about secrecy, female friendship, sisterhood, and I can't wait to really dive into the drama that's going to happen in that book. Another text that I found is by an author that I'm not really familiar with at all. Her name is Bryant Simmons, and she has written Blue Sky. I did not know this when I picked it up, but this is book 2 in a series involving the Morrow girls. It looks like it's about a mom who has finally gotten all of her her children out of foster care and back into her own house. But the drama does not end there because all of these children, I'm sure, have gone through their own experiences and have their own stories to tell. Now that they're all back together, the mother is dealing with a lot of, teenage girls who are, quote, testing boundaries, experimenting with love, sex, and drugs, and she's trying to rein them in before they can go too far. So this looks very interesting. This is giving you another perspective of what a family can look like, which I think is very important. Not everything is, husband, wife, 2.5 children, picket fence, and dog. But like I said, this is book 2 in the series, so I don't know if I'm missing out too much on the first book. I hope not. I hope this is something that I can pick up on in the middle. I found a couple of short story collections that I'm really excited about because I do know about these authors and I have read previous things from them. One of them is Nnedi Okorafor, who's a Nigerian American author. She has written some awesome science fiction and fantasy books. This collection is called Kabu-Kabu. I can tell you from experience, having read her novel Lagoon and Who's Afraid of Death, fantastic books. When we think of Black sci-fi, we think of Octavia Butler, and everybody always suggests you should read Kindred, which is great, but she's not exactly contemporary anymore. Unfortunately, she has passed, and we do need to put a contemporary lens on science fiction, as well as introducing writers of color. And Nnedi Okorafor is definitely bringing stuff to the table. Most of her books are about life and politics and environmental issues in Nigeria, and I seriously recommend reading Lagoon. That book will blow you out of the water. Even if you're like me, somebody who's not really familiar with the science fiction genre, there are going to be a lot of great things that reach out and grab you. And I can't wait to see what she does in a collection of short stories where writers are supposed to have a lot more constraint, and, fulfill a narrative arc in such a short time. I want to see what she can pull off in something small. Another short story collection is by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, which you all should be pretty familiar with. Her collection is called The Thing Around Your Neck. And again, I want to see what prolific writers can do in such a small span of time and what kind of constraints or restraints they show themselves in their own writing. She is a fantastic writer, speaker, thinker. She's kind of like, you know, what we need today as far as a James Baldwin type public intellectual. So I've read her book Americana, and that was fantastic. Again, she's a Nigerian writer. She's from Nigeria, and she's doing the same thing, educating us on, you know, Nigerian politics, society, culture. I've got one author with 2 books, the great, incomparable Toni Morrison. I found God Help the Child and A Mercy. And God Help the Child looks like it is going to be a tale about the way suffering of childhood can shape and misshape the life of an adult. The protagonist is a dark-skinned woman who has a light-skinned mother who's, you know, abusive and dysfunctional, and I guess this kind of carries on into her adult life. Maybe there are remnants of Bluest Eye in here, I'm not sure, but I'm definitely excited to give it a chance. A Mercy looks like it's going to take us way, way back to the 1680s, back when the slave trade was still in its infancy. We're talking about the Americas, the New World, in the midst of what is described as a virulent religious and class division. Prejudice and oppression were rife, and provided the fertile soil in which slavery and race hatred were planted and took root. So she's taking us way back to the New World where, you know, slavery had no choice but to get started, I guess. I'm really excited because sounds like she's doing her homework and what the world looked like back in the 1600s before slavery really got off the ground. I love it when an author does the heavy lifting of using cultural context. I think that makes writing so much more rich and full-bodied. So I'm super pumped about how many books? 6 books. That's a lot. Some of these I feel like I could read in a half a day. Like the Toni Morrison books, they look like they're relatively small. And I say that I think that I can read them in a half a day because I'm on spring break right now. I can basically just sit around and read fiction if I wanted to. I don't have to grade anything. I don't have to do any class prep. I'm free to be a reader, which is lovely. So I hope that you take stock in my book recommendations. Like I said, I only found them on accident by searching out their stickers. I feel like I'm going to be really pleased by these. If you want, I can do reviews on any of them. That's fine. Let me know what you guys are reading. What are you reading to prolong the Black History Month experience? What Black female or, you know, writers of color are you interested in right now? Drop them down below in the comment section and get back in touch with me. That's all I have for you guys today. Happy reading. Happy Black History Month, because it does not end with, February. Keep this train going. Until next time, you guys be cool and peace.